We got other comments in the comment section, but we're gonna save them for after our review of uh, of the rookie. It's time for our favorite summer segment, which is no ticket required. Where is that bumper? Ah, there it is. Here we go. No ticket required. And as promised, we are going to review 2002's The Rookie, starring Dennis Quaid and Rachel Griffiths. This is a Disney movie that's based on the true story of Jim Morris, who was a high school teacher who was also a baseball coach, who in his 40s had a tryout with the Tampa Bay Rays and was a member of that Tampa Bay Rays team. And if I look at baseballreference.com, we go to Jim Morris. He played for 2 seasons in the major leagues, was born in 1964. He's 61 years old. Good for him. Was actually drafted by the New York Yankees in the 18th round of the 1982 amateur draft, and then redrafted in the first round of the 1983 draft, the secondary phase, and by the Milwaukee Brewers. Did not pitch a game. He actually hurt his shoulder, so he never made an appearance. But then again, in 1999, got a tryout. Did a open tryout with the Tampa Bay Rays, and then went on to pitch 2 seasons with the team. He made 21 appearances, 15 innings pitched, 13 hits, 12 runs, 8 earned, 2 home runs given up, 9 walks, 13 strikeouts though, and 1 intentional walk. Career ERA of 4.80. But that's not what we're here to review. We're not here to review his stats. We're not here to review his marvelous season from 1999 and 2000 when he came in the league as a relief pitcher, as a 35-year-old at the time. Made his first appearance with the Tampa Bay Rays. We're going to talk about his inspiring story of how he became a major leaguer. So I don't remember. I watched this film. I have it on DVD. And I couldn't find it, but I had a Disney Plus subscription, so it's on Disney Plus. I watched it before. I've only watched it once before, so I'm kind of seeing it with fresh eyes in a sense. But I don't know about you, Dustin. But I don't have you. You had me lead off last week with my thoughts about Varsity Blues, so I'm going to have you lead off this week. And by the way, next week we're reviewing The Natural. We got finalized, but we'll have our special guest who will reveal. At the end of this segment. So, Dustin, give me some of your thoughts about The Rookie.
Well, this is complicated for me because I had much more pleasant memories of The Rookie. I do remember watching it. The movie came out the year I graduated high school, 2002. Yes, I am dating myself here. There's been some talk in the comments about people being old. Because I'm older than both of you by quite a bit. And the bags under my eyes tonight prove it. But anyway, when I watched this movie in 2002, I remember being hooked into it. You know, I was into it. And I really found the story inspiring. And, you know, I fell hook, line, and sinker. I remember for the kid in the movie, and I liked his team and everything. And I was watching it with my mom. I think we saw it in the theater, and because it was a movie that we were both interested in, and though that didn't always happen. And I remember telling her, like, "Oh, I'm going to go home and fire up Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest and see if he's in the lineup for the Devil Rays." And I can't remember whether he was in their pen or not, because this was before the days of real-time roster updates where you could download roster patches and all that stuff. Can't remember if I found old Jim Morris on there, but watching this movie years later, this was probably the first time I watched it in a long time. And I can tell you, Ryan, I was viewing it with fresh eyes as well. And the feeling on that I get on this movie now is a little bit different. First of all, after watching a movie like Varsity Blues with the soundtrack it had, the
Yep.
soundtrack to this one was quite underwhelming. And I have in my notes, they're really sticking with this recorder theme that they have going as he's like driving around and doing things. They cut to real songs, but then they have like this recorder motif going throughout the movie. I was excited to see. I had forgotten that Brian Cox was in this movie as Sir, aka Jim Morris's father. I think it was Jim Morris Sr. He was a Navy recruiter, Army kid. You feel bad for Jimmy. I do like the opening sequence, the beginning where they show how much he moved around, and that his father really doesn't share his passion for baseball and seemingly doesn't think it's a worthy pastime. But I remember Brian Cox the most. Most remember him from Secession. I remember him as Uncle Argyle in Braveheart. He comes to take a young William Wallace in. So I said, Uncle Argyle, an exclamation point. I always like when Brian Cox is in something.
Yep.
But this movie, the first thing I'm going to say, the detriment that it has against it, in my opinion, is that it's just too long. I forgot how long it was. It's moving very slowly. Still, overall, I found the message inspiring. And I think Dennis Quaid does a pretty good job of portraying someone who's torn between his love of baseball never dying, but also wrestling with that pragmatic side of him that realizes that his chances probably passed him by. He's got to come to terms with it, and he's got a family to support and things like that. I think he does a pretty believable performance. Some of the pitching sequences, I looked it up. Dennis Quaid did have a body double for this movie for some of the pitching parts, but he did do some of his own pitching, so it was a mix of both. But this movie, there's a hardware store in this Texas town called Butts Hardware. I think this movie has a bit of an obsession with butts. It's a recurring theme throughout the movie. But I still liked his son. He's asking, is that why you didn't make it? It cuts his dad right to the quick when it flashes forward in time, and he's still hanging out with those same three guys in the hardware store that he met at the beginning of the movie. But the budget, the movie does a good job of illustrating the gulf between baseball and football in Texas. He has no budget for his high school baseball team. The scoreboard looks beat up. The uniforms the practice uniforms are sad. The game uniforms a little better. And I did like the human hair trick apparently does work. My mom used it to protect some stuff in her garden. She might have done it after this movie. I can't remember. But
I wouldn't have put it past her.
Yeah,
she did.
Yeah, they do use they do grow the grass and stuff, but the part of the movie that I found really kind of unbelievable upon this watch, and I should have done research to see how it compared, what parts Disney Disneyfied, as you like to say, Ryan, because the Owls, they were a woeful team, woeful team. And then this movie takes the tired old tradition of the coach. They're pressuring the coach. They're saying, you gotta try out, because you're throwing some gas, and I don't think you realize how fast you're throwing. And of course, he's got the catcher. That's the one that spurs him on. And then all of a sudden, the team takes off when he says that. All of a sudden, they've gone from winning one game the previous 3 seasons, and now they win 17, and they go to states, all because he says, I'm going to try out, and they just catch fire. That was the part that I was like, come on, man. This has got to be like a Disneyfication. I had a harder time buying it. But, there's certain things I have in my notes. You can't help but smile during the win streak, even though like, that it didn't happen that way. But the relationship between Jimmy and his father is one that hit. To me, that was like the truest part of this movie, and that was the real story that I kind of stuck with throughout this movie. As inspiring as it is to see Jimmy chase a dream that that kind of got put on the shelf with his injuries, and then get there. That's supposed to be the inspiring message behind the movie. But for me, I think it was both men realizing they've made a mistake. His father said that he missed too many big moments for his son, and at the end, spoilers of the movie, and Jimmy gave him the ball, gave him the ball that he had been hanging on to. And you could see there's moments in this movie where both of these men want to come together and kind of apologize to each other. Jimmy, after some prodding from his mother and his wife, I think in different ways, and also seeing the relationship that he has with his own son. What I clung to most in this movie is watching these two men kind of finally come together at the end of the movie and realize that they both made some mistakes. And you would hope that they patched it up in this movie world. You would hope that they passed it up. And I have a touching moment between Jim and his dad. That's what got it. That's what got this movie over the hump for me. The baseball sequences, I didn't buy into them as much as I thought I would. I mean, like I said, I smiled during the win streak, even though I knew it was patentedly unbelievable. But this movie is conflicting for me because overall there were some parts I really liked, but the soundtrack was a weak point. I thought Dennis Quaid did a good job. He's got some guns in this movie, so he must have worked out. Some of his faces,
dude's an all-time stud. Come on.
Oh yeah. But
I say this as a heterosexual male.
Yeah.
I have no shame in saying that dude's an all-time stud.
Yeah, game recognizes game, but some of his faces that he's making, they're ridiculous. Like his trademark Quaid smile. I'm like, I'd never noticed how kind of crazy he looks sometimes. But this movie,
it's kind of like Jack Nicholson in the
yes,
as the Joker.
Yes,
like same kind of smile.
Yeah, that's an apt comparison for sure. But I guess I'll finish with these thoughts because I've gone on entirely too long. Some parts of this movie I really liked, and some parts I didn't as much because they were tough to buy in. And the soundtrack and the length of this movie has me conflicted about where to rank it. And with that, I will turn it over to you, Ryan, and then we'll rank the movie at the end on our respective lists.
Yeah, as I've said, as you correctly stated, that quoting, but kind of taking what I've seen from Disney movies or their sports movies. Yeah, there has been Disneyfication of certain things because they always say it's based. They always say at the beginning when they start the movie and they start the opening credits, it says based on a true story. Miracle was based on a true story. Even though they didn't produce it, American Underdog is based on a true story. So a lot of these sports movies are often based on true stories, and there's a little bit of artistic license to them. This movie's no exception. And you brought along some facts about the team that Jim Morris coached. They were dog water, basically.
Yeah.
So the inspiration of them making the playoffs and winning district, so they would motivate him to try out for to go to open tryout for a Major League Baseball team because they believed in his dream. Because he was telling his players after the game that they lost by a big amount, by like 13-3. He's looking at them. They're lackadaisical. They look like they don't care. They're just kind of standing there, and it's like, what? Like, you guys just lost it because you don't look like you don't care. And you see that not so much. You see that both with any level of sport, whether you're playing recreationally, high school, college, intramurals, professional. You can tell when people's attitude they just don't care. They just don't want to be there. They absolutely don't want to be there. So So yeah, the artistic license with trying to make this a more inspiring story than it already is, kind of pumping the tires a little bit in the story. The relationship, there's the keys of this movie are the relationship between Jim and his son Hunter,
Yep.
and Jim Senior, because you can kind of see you see the dynamic between between Jim and his dad and Jim and his son. Like he's trying to be more present. He's trying to be the dad that his dad wasn't. And I think it's a lot. I think a lot of men do that these days. I mean, last month was men's mental health. Did you know this? That last month was men's mental health month.
I saw that on social media. Yeah, I saw that on
you
social media.
you didn't see that a whole lot. So if I would just say this, if guys out there, if you have issues with your dad or issues with your parents, I would highly encourage you to talk it out with somebody you trust.
Yeah.
Whether it be a therapist, a pastor, or a priest, or just someone in your life who was a father figure to you. I would encourage you to seek counseling and try to make amends before it's too late. And it's interesting that the one line in the movie that Jim Morris says, he says, your grandfather once told me it was okay to think about what you want to do until it was time to start doing what you are meant to do. And what's interesting, I kind of see this. I saw this myself in the movie. Like when Jim Senior told it to Jim Junior, Jim Junior took it in the wrong. Sense.
Yeah, he was. I have in my notes. He was still mad. He was still mad about it. Yeah,
and it's funny because I think about this now with take it backstage here.
Yeah,
in the dynamic with my dad, sometimes I do the same thing.
Yeah,
like,
we all do.
Say something like not just with our dad, but with people we respect and love. We think they're saying something. You're taking it the wrong way at first, but then you really sit down and you think about it, and you're going, "Oh yeah, they were totally right." So, but Dennis Quaid. Always, he's one of the great sports movie actors because he's not just in this movie, but Everyone's All American. I never saw that movie. Maybe we had that in a feature list for No Ticket Required. Everybody's All American with Jessica Lange as his girlfriend / wife in the movie. He was also an American Underdog. He was Kurt Warner's father-in-law.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. I forgot his cameo in there.
Yep. He was also in Any Given Sunday, which we'll probably, again, do another feature, No Ticket Required about. But he always seems to crush it when it comes to sports movies. This one, no exception. Absolutely crushed it. Absolutely crushed the part of Jim Morris. Was again, great actor. But the person who stole the show, the actor who actually stole the show in this movie, Angus T. Jones as Hunter Morris.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that Angus T. Jones, he's no longer in Hollywood. After he did 2.5 Men for however long that show was on the air. And after he went to college, met his wife, started going to church, and he's like, "No, I don't do that anymore. I don't." He's no longer an actor. So he's no longer in the Hollywood. But like when he was a kid, you could tell like this guy he was going to be a really good child actor, and he was excellent in this movie. He stole the show.
Yeah, I forgot that's because I was like, he looks familiar, and I did. I was watching this movie with my sister Tracy. She came over and we watched it, and she kind of made fun of. We were making fun of Dennis Quaid's faces, some of them, and then she did like an Angus T. Jones smile, and I turned to her and I said, "Hey, he's the heart of the movie," and I wasn't fully joking here.
But like you said, the top of your comments, this movie was long, and I watched it on Sunday afternoon. I got home from the gym, got some popcorn, sat down. I said, I was gonna watch a football game that night, so I'm doing my thing with Total Football Talk with our boy Drew Willingham.
Yeah.
I said, all right, let's watch this movie. I'll watch a couple hours before the game starts. Popped it on Disney Plus. I looked at the timeline, it says 2 hours. I'm going, oh no, this might suck. It didn't, but there were times where it just everything just kind of felt slow. It dragged a little bit, which was it's the weak part of it. This is one of the weaknesses, one of the flaws of this movie. It's just the length and how it drags out a little bit. And there's a lot of stuff that didn't necessarily need to be in the movie, like the calls to home from the minor league fields. Oh, by the way, the I don't know if this is a reflection, if this is artistic license with the movie, or if this actually happened with the AA team in Orlando when the manager calls him from the bullpen, gives him the ball and says, "Hurry it up, we got a bus to catch. We got a long bus ride."
No,
Well, that just typifies the entire Tampa Bay Devil Rays organization back in 1999.
They were still owned by Vince Namoli, I believe, at that point.
Yeah, and actually they just got sold yesterday. They announced it yesterday that they were being sold, and they're going to probably stay in they want to stay in the new owner has mentioned that he wants the team to stay in the Tampa area, not St. Petersburg. So I don't know how it's going to happen, but that's neither here nor there. We just happen to mention the Tampa Bay Rays because Tampa Bay Devil Rays are in this movie. So.
Yeah.
But I forgot how clean those Devil Ray uniforms were back in the day with the gradient lettering and the manta ray on the front and the cap.
No, I did like those uniforms too. Those are the ones I remember because Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest. Guess what I used to try to do? I used to take the Rays and I used to build my own roster, and I used to try to take them to the promised land. And now you see why I didn't go to prom in high school. But hey, things happen.
Little peek into Dustin's life there.
Yeah.
But getting back to our primary subject here of the rookie. Now, again, inspiring story. It just shows that no matter what age you are, there's always a reason to try. Whether it's to be a better parent, whether it's to try to do something you've never done before, try a new hobby, try to excel at something. Like, this movie is definitely an inspiration.
Yeah,
Mystery Alaska in the same way was also very inspirational, even though it's total fiction, but it's definitely a what if film. Like, what if a team that gets together every Saturday and has guys in the town play the game on the Saturday game? What if they were to play against a professional team, the Binghamton Rangers in a sense? But no. Again, the Disney movie, inspirational. Again, the flaw of this movie is, again, the artistic license and the length and the fact that some of the scenes just dragged out and they didn't really need to. So but that's for me. That's it for me. So we're going to do our rankings, Dustin. I'm going to start with you. In terms of the movies we've seen so far in this iteration of No Ticket Required, where does this rank in your rankings?
Okay, number 1 is Seabiscuit. It's going to take a heck of an effort to knock it off, and I don't think anything's going to. Number 2 for me.
2 movies left, though.
Yeah, yep. 2 movies left. We'll see. Then we got number 2. I have a feeling there'll be some changes down the line, but for now, my number 2 is still Invictus. My number 3 because of nostalgia, Blue Chips. Okay, I always have to put that asterisk on it, but also Nick Nolte, incredibly believable as that basketball coach. And then, okay, number 4, Mystery Alaska, barely edged out by Blue Chips. Number 5, this is where I struggle. This is the internal conflict, but I do think I'm going to put Varsity Blues slightly ahead of The Rookie. Varsity Blues stays at number 5. The Rookie just barely goes to number 6. 7 is Draft Day. And 8, of course, we all know, No Holds Barred.
All right, here's my order. So number 1, obviously, Seabiscuit. Number 2, I'm trying to remember my draft. I'm trying to remember my order. Maybe I'll have to go back in the archive and listen to last episode to remember what my ranking was. But if I remember correctly, number 2 was Invictus, if I remember correctly. And then number 3 was Mystery Alaska, barely edging out Blue Chips.
Blue Chips, yeah, you had Blue Chips. You and I have Blue Chips swapped in Mystery Alaska.
I'm going to put at number... Let's see. So Seabiscuit, Mystery Alaska, Invictus, Blue Chips. I'm going to put The Rookie at number 5.
Okay.
Not because of the subject matter, not because it's an inspiring story, but just because it was too long and it dragged out longer than it should.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Draft Day. I'm sorry. Number 6 is Draft Day.
Oh, what about Varsity Blues?
Oh, Varsity Blues. Okay, so Varsity Blues is just under The Rookie.
Okay, yep.
Just under the, well, like I said, I'm trying to go by memory. My memory is bad, so I'll have to go back in my rank. I'll have to go back and listen to the last episode or watch the last episode to remember where I was. So Seabiscuit, Invictus, Mystery Alaska, Blue Chips, Rookie, Varsity Blues, Draft Day. Then last place, No Holds Barred.
You and I have Draft Day and No Holds Barred have been locked in that position pretty much for the whole time.
They have since No Holds Barred.
Yeah,
that was 3 weeks ago. Shoot.
Yeah.
All right, so next week we're going to be reviewing The Natural from, I believe it was 1982, with Robert Redford, Glenn Close, Kim Basinger, hello, and the dad from Christmas Story. I can't remember his name. I can't
I can't remember.
Gavin McSomething. Anyway, but we're going to be joined. I'm going to finalize with him this week. We're going to be joined by a special guest, and it's none other than this gentleman.
The following is a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe,
Boston.
This has been a public service announcement from Wise El Jefe.
Our tribal chief, Wise El Jefe, will be joining us. He didn't come back last night on Raw, but he's our tribal chief, number 1 in our hearts. He'll be joining us for our review of The Natural. And then in 2 weeks, we'll conclude our summer series with Remember the Titans. I'm going to try to get a special guest. I'm going to try to get a guest reviewer for that one. I'll reach out and see if anybody wants to be available or what